Hey, Shalom, welcome to Rakam Parsham Jim Slolin, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bo Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's pushing his truth in all sincerity. Back again with another lesson, another video, just a short one. This article or this post, right, from Global Eye News, brothers posted in the chat. And it's got this news here from a few days ago. Was it dated January 7th? Again, we in a new year, a new phase of the elite's plans, right? And only a new phase of the Most High's plans and what he's going to get these devils to do. But this misfit, Benjamin Netanyahu, right? He being moved in the spirit to do more craziness, right? Which is only fulfilling prophecy, right? Because it's only the Heavenly Father moving all these chess pieces, to where he wants them, right, to fulfill prophecy, right? And I say this because this particular article here, is going into, well, let me just read it, right? It says, breaking, Netanyahu appointed Nagel committee says Israel must prepare for direct war with Turkey, right? This guy, is on the war path. He's just warring everybody in the region, right? And it's, causing tension in the region, obviously, right? And this guy, he doesn't seem to want to stop, right? I don't know, he thinks he's cementing himself some type of legacy or whatever, but I don't know the reasons why he's they're saying this, but at the end of the day, he's nothing but a pawn of prophecy, just like everybody else is. But he got him and his nation, his state, right, play a major role in fulfillment of prophecy, leading to World War III. All right, so him, basically calling for war essentially with Turkey is part of prophecy. All right, let me grab two scriptures to set that up, right? So let me get Jeremiah 49 first, right? It says, Jeremiah 49 verse 20, so therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, right? These guys, Netanyahu and these people, right? They're nothing but Edomites, right? They're not of the nation of Israel, of the 12 tribes. They're not descendants of Jacob, right? These are Edomites, okay, Idumeans, or of Esau, right? These people specifically of the tribe of Amalek, right? And so these guys have been set up to bring war and to take away peace from the earth, pursuant to Revelation chapter 6, is it 4, concerning the red horse, right? To take peace from the earth, right? These people are going to lead this world to destruction as they have been doing, right? So this is the counsel he's taken against Edom. It says, and these purposes that he hath proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them, right? And the Amalekites represent the least of Esau, the smallest tribe, but those with the greatest amount of power. Okay, these elites, right there, of the tribe of Amalek, right? They hold the greatest amount of power in the earth over the rest of their brethren, right? Or the rest of these Edomites. Right, and they're gonna, they're making moves that's gonna bring around this conflict, bring around this destruction. But only, they're going, they're looking for trouble. They're gonna find it. The Most High gonna bring destruction upon them for all the wickedness that they're doing. All right, so the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea, right? So, like I said, these men, they're gonna bring around this war in the Middle East. Okay, this is World War III in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, right? And right now, they're kind of calling against Turkey right now, which is also prophetic, right? So not only are these small hats doing all this craziness in the Middle East, they're obviously drawing other people in it, right? And that's what they're there to do, to draw them out, draw the other nations out to battle them, And so this is from Ezekiel 38. And this starts off here speaking about Gog and Magog, right? Which is just, Gog, which represents Russia because they dwell in that land, in that region, right? And they're the ones being used to come against, NATO, primarily America, but NATO because, NATO America runs that. right? So they got to face, these European nations, right? Also, but it says, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, right? The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, right? So the Most High is using Russia to come up against, America and their allies, right? But ultimately, the Lord is not with them. They're just simply tools, right, to bring about this battle. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them having swords, right? So Russia's being put back on the war footing, right, to be, somewhat antagonistic against the West, right, because of what the West is doing, round about them, and to their, their allied nations, Russia's quote unquote friends or whatever, right? So Russia's having to be involved and get involved with the West and their corruption or whatever. Not saying Russia and them are not corrupt, but obviously they got beef with each other, right? So they've been put back in that spirit of war, preparing for war against one another, right? But here's Turkey's part in this, right? It says Persia, which represents Iran, which they're allies with Iran, right? They're on friendly terms or whatever. Ethiopia and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with these. So verse 6 is the point here, and it mentions Togarmah here, right? Togarmah today is where Turkey resides, right? And I put it up in the Google AI, or put it in the Google search. AI's responded, right? I put in who lives in the land of Togarmah, right? And it's come back with Togarmah as a figure in the Bible's book of Genesis, and the descendants of Togarmah, which they're not descendants. The guys in Turkey are not the direct descendants of Togarmah, because I believe they're a Japhetic people. So the descendants of Togarmah are thought to include people living in the Caucasus and Anatolia and Eastern Europe, right? But where it tells me, where did it tell me? Well, you've got here, Khazar records say that Togarmah is the ancestor of Turkic-speaking peoples. Where was it? Oh, okay, here it is, right. Right. It says, who is the present-day Togarmah? While the historic identity of Togarmah and its precise geographic location remains subject of debate among biblical scholars, one common consensus is that Togarmah represents an ancient and Anatolian people situated in the region of modern-day Turkey. Right? So Turkey wouldn't be on the side of Russia coming against Babylon and their allies, right? Which, Netanyahu is part of, right? Because obviously the state of Israel is like an extension of America, and it's one of their allies that they have vowed to defend, right? And so because you got here at the bottom of this picture here, it says, what does US do if Israel attacks a NATO nation, right? Because Turkey's part of NATO, right? But they're all meant to be allies. But Turkey's always been a bit of a funny one in NATO, because they're not typically Western, right? They're not, they're largely a Muslim nation. They're not Christian or Judeo-Christian or whatever. So they're a bit of a funny one in that group, and they've never always seen eye to eye about certain things. Okay, so what happens? Will America fight NATO, or have conflict with NATO in some form or fashion if Israel goes against them? Is America gonna fight alongside Israel over Turkey or against NATO for that reason? Or how's that all gonna work? How would that work? Right? Because America is NATO. America is the head of NATO. So what do you do? Whose side do you pick? Right? And so this leads to greater contentions. Right? This leads to greater contentions within the group, within the bloc, so to speak. Right? Let me read this first, right? It's Daniel chapter 2, verse 41 says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, right? This kingdom is currently divided, right? This is the last kingdom that is seen in Daniel's prophecy or Daniel's dream, or what was revealed to Daniel in the dream, right? This is the last kingdom, and we're at the toes or the feet of that kingdom. And the 10 tones represents NATO, the EU, right? And Esau's rulership. Okay, so there be whereas thou sawest the feet of toes, part of potters clay and part of iron, the kingdom should be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, right? Because NATO is militarily strong, militarily, because it's being headed by America, who were the mightiest nation on the planet, so they keep, pushing, but they definitely spend the most money. They are definitely formidable in their military, right? And as a collective, there's no army that the average army is not just come and give it problems. All right, it's going to take an alliance of other nations to really come up against it, beginning with Russia and their allies, and that's why it's going to be such a mad battle, because militarily, man, they're mighty. You've got a lot of armories and shit, and missiles and drones and all kinds of shit. So it's going to be a big ass war. World War III is going to be obviously a large, crazy, disastrous warfare, right? Man, I got nukes and all kinds of stuff. So, there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, right? Not all parts of Europe, but the EU is strong, right? We've got weaker nations and stronger nations over here. Whether it be military or financially, there's weaker components to it, but they band together to make themselves a solid block, It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Right, so there's division and contention within these groups or these blocks, right? And Israel is creating greater fissures, right? And this is why they're drawing them out. They're going to be the cause of why everybody's fighting, right? They're going to be the cause of the world war. Okay, the next one, the last one. All right. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 6, right? And so this contention is going to get so sharp. It's going to come to a point where, because the answer is going to be this, right? Because they ask, what does the US do if Israel attacks a NATO nation? The answer is that America will defend Israel. That's the answer, right? There's no other outcome. There's no other outcome, right? Especially with how relations have become between America and these European nations and Britain, and all part of NATO, right? It's becoming frayed, right? And Trump's already speaking about how he ain't going to protect Canada if they ain't going to become a state of America. They ain't going to protect the European nations and NATO or whatever if they ain't pulling their weight. So he's already got like a negative opinion about these things already, right? But Israel's never one of those things that come off the table. Like they always defend Israel. They always defend Israel, right? That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what it is, right? He ain't talking about not supporting Israel for all the money that they spend defending them, but no, he's talking about Canada. Oh, we don't need their cars, we don't need their milk, we don't need this, we don't need that for them, So why are we paying them all this money? That's what he said. So you should just become a state under America, because then you have a reason to receive these things. But what about Israel? What about Israel? He ain't saying the same thing, about them. Because what does America need of Israel? Israel got nothing, nothing at all to offer anybody in the world, right? All they do is just war. That's what they do, right? So here back in Revelation 17 and 16, it said, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, okay, which represents NATO and the EU, these shall hate the whole, which is America, because America is the head of NATO, right? They're by far the largest military and militarily and financially in that organization, right? But people, the rest of the bloc are starting to dislike the way America does things. All these bullying tactics and all this pompous attitude towards them, looking down on these other nations and that, right? So they're growing resentment of how they're being treated by the whore, right? So, and these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? So that's where that resentment is going to lead to in this World War III. What these nations are going to agree on or do, right, is to destroy America, right? Because we're fighting this war over your allies, Israel and whatever, and you ain't backing down, ain't no one backing down. The solution is just to get rid of you, right? You're a problem, right? And America and Israel is going to be destroyed, but America is never going to return. Okay, that's going to be far beyond destroyed. No man's going to live there, dwell there, like the scriptures say. All right, but Israel is going to be rebuilt because the true Israelites are going to return with Yahweh Shai, and we're going to rebuild using you heathen as a labor force. All right, but continuing here, it says, verse 17, for God have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, right? These are nothing but pawns and chess pieces, the Most High is using to get these things achieved, to fulfill his prophecy, right? So for God have put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and to give the kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. And the woman that which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth, okay, which is America, right? So Mosai is using all these pieces to fulfill his will. Okay. Let me grab this first and I'll close out on the last one. Right? This is Luke chapter 11, verse 17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Shai speaking, right? Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And they're obviously divided, and they're going to be even greater divided as time goes on, as these situations escalate. All right. Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. Right. So again, this kingdom is divided against itself and is destined to be destroyed. All right. They're gonna turn on each other. It's all gonna fall apart. Right. And like I said, it all starts because of what this idiot is doing. Saying you got to prepare war for Turkey. Well, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be an issue. That's gonna cause issues. You're already causing too much issues in the Middle East already, and you're gonna cause greater issues, and that directly with your allies. Yeah, it's not the smartest thing to be doing in the world, right? But this is what they do. This is what they're supposed to do. This is what the Most High is making them do, right? So this is what I'm going to end on, right? This is Proverbs 21, verse 1. And the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, right? The king's heart, which is his mind, these rulers' minds, right, is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whitherso he will, right? So it's the Most High that's controlling what all these people are doing out here, okay, so that the Most High can have his outcome be fulfilled, right? Have his will be fulfilled, have prophecy be fulfilled. And all these men are playing into the prophecy, whether they recognize it or not, whether anybody recognizes it or not. These men are moving exactly how they're supposed to, and this is why we know these things were going to happen. This was always going to happen, right? So when these things pop up in news articles, they're not surprising. It's just it's just like, oh yeah, now we're at this part now, and now we should wait for the next part. But it's not surprising. Like, we've read the scriptures. Let's say we knew about Ezekiel 38 already, and these nations that were band together against Babylon. Russia, Iran, Turkey. But then people would say, yeah, but Turkey is part of NATO. How are they going to go against America and against this and that? Well, it's prophecy. We don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but when it does, it's like, oh, that's how it's going to happen. And again, these devils, they're being used to draw these men into that situation. Most are using to do it. So yeah. So the question at the bottom is, what does the US do if Israel attacks a NATO nation? America backs Israel. And NATO, it might be in a bit of a disarray. Turkey is gonna be like, fuck these Westerners, fuck them. I'm gonna side with Russia. It's gonna happen. Turkey's gonna remove themselves out of NATO, enjoying Russia. All right. But with that, I'm gonna end it there. So Lord willing, it's been at the time, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Till next time, I say shalom.